My childhood sweetheart and I got into a car accident. I passed out, well, I faked it. Panicking, he scooped me out of the car. He was sobbing himself hoarse, tears and snot streaming together. Evelyn, you can't get hurt, I still have so many things I haven't done with you. I squinted, sneaking a look at him, and then I heard his inner voice, in the living room, in the kitchen, on the balcony, in the car. I shot upright and slapped him across the face. David Johnson, you rogue. David Johnson hadn't even had time to wipe his nose. He stared at me, stunned. Evelyn. You're okay? Thinking of what I'd just heard, my face went hot. I didn't dare meet David's eyes. I cleared my throat and said, I'm fine. I was teasing you. David's expression shifted from delight to wounded. Hand over his cheek, he asked, then why did you hit me? Because you wanted to, I faltered. After all, he hadn't said it out loud. So many things. David blinked twice, and his face flushed scarlet. I rose on tiptoe, grabbed David's collar, and threatened, what's with that look? I'm telling you, don't even think about it. We were only 2 centimeters apart, his breath tickled my face. To keep from showing nerves, I craned my neck even more, only to hear David's heart again. Her little pout is so cute. I want to kiss her. I hurriedly pressed my lips together. Why did that feel especially like a guilty giveaway? I relaxed my mouth again. I'll just pretend I'm unsteady and steal a kiss. I shoved David away at once. He staggered back 2 steps, looking at me in puzzlement. I was about to say something to ease the awkwardness when David suddenly tugged me toward the car. Evelyn, you might have hit your head. I'm taking you to the hospital. Did he just say there's something wrong with my brain? You're the... Who was driving? I'd barely gotten 2 words out before we were interrupted. The traffic cops had arrived. Me, David said. The officer checked David's license, glanced at the tree with its bark scraped off by the bumper, then held a device up to David's mouth. Blow. The breath test was clean. The officer eyed David askance. If you didn't drink, why couldn't you drive in a straight line? David looked at the officer, at a loss, his lips moving, then he looked at me. A bad feeling swept over me. The next second, David bowed to the officer and blurted, I'm sorry. My girlfriend smells too good today. I lost control. What on earth is he saying? David's heart, why did I tell the truth out loud? The officer's probing gaze flicked between us. I tried to explain, but David cut in first, we didn't do anything. I didn't dare open my eyes. Please let this be a hallucination. I ignored David for a full 2 days. On the 3rd day, he came to my house, arms loaded with pricey gifts. David, what are you doing? I charged out of my bedroom and blocked him in the entryway. Dad, who'd just been about to accept the gifts, jumped at my shout. You little brat, what are you yelling for? Dad, how could you accept his gifts? Why didn't you talk to me first? How can you not ask my opinion about something this big? Dad's expression turned odd. Why would I ask you? Can't I make a decision on something this small? Small? I couldn't believe my doting father would say that. A wave of hurt crashed over me, my eyes went red in an instant. How is this any different from selling your daughter? I shouted. Seeing me cry, Dad panicked. What are you talking about? When have I ever sold you? Then why did you accept David's betrothal gifts? Both men blurted at the same time, huh? Dad hurried to explain. I asked David to buy these for me. David has a friend who runs a trading company, so he gets insider prices. Every year we have him help us stock up on New Year's goods, too. What are you even buying all this for? I asked. Dad pointed to the items in David's hands one by one. These 2 are to drink, this one's to smoke, and this is for you to eat. I stared at him. Then why did you buy 2 of each? Because David said the second one's half price. So that's what it was? Guiltily, I sneaked a glance at David. He cocked an eyebrow, the smile tugging at his mouth impossible to suppress. His heart said, so Evelyn wanted me to propose. Shut up. I clapped my hands over my ears, refusing to look at David. Dad was baffled. David didn't say anything, though? How was I supposed to explain to Dad that I could hear David's inner voice? If I said it out loud, they'd think the takeout had poisoned me. Uncle Perry, David spoke up suddenly. Could I talk to Evelyn alone for a minute? Dad has doted on David like a son since he was little. He didn't think twice, he took the bags from David and went to the living room, naturally granting us privacy. Keeping a safe distance from David, I eyed him warily. What do you want to say? David is 6'1", and I'm 5'5". My neck ached from looking up at him, so I fixed my gaze on his Adam's apple. That felt weird, so my eyes darted around instead. Suddenly David bent down, cupped my face in his hands, and locked eyes with me. He said, Evelyn, if I were going to propose, I wouldn't bring only these things. My heart suddenly went wild, his palms growing hotter by the second. His gaze began to drop, first to the bridge of my nose, then to my mouth. On a sudden impulse, I closed my eyes. 1 second, 2, his kiss didn't land. Instead, I heard him call out, "Uncle Perry, I'm heading out." With a half-smile, David gave my cheek a gentle pinch. As he stepped through the door, I clearly heard his inner voice, stubborn mouth, "Kiss her, already." Ever since I realized David liked me, I'd become skittish and possessive. We'd grown up together. I'd helped him chase girls, he'd played wingman for me. We were so close that even if we spent a night out together, our families wouldn't think twice. I could be every version of myself in front of him, burps, farts, picking my teeth or my toes. I'd always treated him like a brother, never noticing that he was, in fact, a man with no blood relation to me at all. With family, you can be reckless; with love, there are too many restraints. After turning it over all night, I decided I should talk it through with David. Saturday came, David wasn't going to the office. After lunch I headed to his place. He wasn't home. "Evelyn, what do you need David for?" "I'll tell him when he gets back," his mother said. "It's nothing, Aunt Johnson. I'll just give him a call." To my surprise, Aunt Johnson waved her hands in a hurry. No, don't call him." "What's wrong?" I asked. Aunt Johnson gave me a meaningful smile and said, "David went on a date. He won't tell me, but the caller was a girl." I heard her. Then she clutched my arm, begging me to help her sniff out his love life if I got the chance. She chattered on, delighted, about her dreams for David's marriage. She even got to the part about grandbabies. My head throbbed, a sour ache bloomed in my chest. It was 9 p.m. when David finally came home. He'd called me a few times, I hadn't answered, then texted to ask what I needed. I stared at the chat box for a long time before replying, "Nothing anymore." Since he already had a date, I'd pretend nothing had happened. From now on we'd just be inseparable, lifelong friends. With that thought I felt a little lighter and got ready to play a couple of games. David's great at gaming, he always boosts my rank. But when I sent him a lobby invite, he replied, "Evelyn, I can't play with you tonight. I'll make it up to you another day." "With your girlfriend?" I stared at those 5 words in the input field, then deleted them one by one and retyped, "Okay." My luck was trash tonight, I lost game after game. The 10th time I saw the word defeat, my mentality collapsed. I opened my intimacy list, saw our couple status, and the tears spilled over despite myself. We'd bound at couple status for 2 reasons: first, his skill; second, to ward off the creeps in-game. Looking at it now, I felt like a clown. I deleted David from my game friends, blocked him on chat, blocked his number. Clean cut, one stroke. There, now I could sleep in peace. Because I'd been up gaming all night, I slept straight through to noon. My parents were out. I lazed in bed, ordered takeout, and scrolled short videos. After a while, there was a knock. I figured the food had arrived, opened the door, and saw David. His face didn't look good. One hand braced the doorframe, his sharp brows knit tight, his eyes dark and hard to read. He looked angry. "David, why did you block me? Why did you break our couple status?" I might have kept my cool, but the moment he brought it up, I got even angrier. Didn't he already have someone else lined up? What was he doing here? But I didn't say that, he'd never actually confessed, so I had no ground to stand on. I was irritated at my own sulking, the muddled, nameless emotions made me even less willing to face him. "Are you done? If you're done, leave." I tossed the words out and started to shut the door. Smack, David's hand shot out to block it. He stepped in, tall frame looming until I was completely in his shadow. "Explain." "There's nothing to explain." "Why are you throwing a tantrum?" "I'm not." Back and forth, line for line. Tension crackled, swords drawn. David's chest rose and fell violently with anger, and then I heard his heart. "I want to kiss her, hard. Kiss her till she cries, till she begs for mercy." I snapped my eyes up and saw danger pooled in his dark gaze. I took a small step back and whispered, "David." The next second, David strode inside and the door shut behind him. He caged me between his arms by the entryway cabinet. I braced both hands against his chest, but he held me fast. "What are you doing?" My heart pounded so hard it might burst free, even my voice shook. His Adam's apple bobbed, his voice was rough and burning. "You." The fierce kiss crashed down. I couldn't resist anymore. Only when I was nearly out of air did David finally let me go. Forehead pressed to mine, he asked in a low voice, "Why did you block me, huh?" "Because." The words were on my tongue when it hit me. Hadn't he gone on a date with some other girl? His ambush had shorted out my brain, clarity snapped back now, and I realized what was happening. Eating from the bowl while eyeing the pot, how had I never noticed he was this scummy? "Was it fun?" I asked, cold as ice. "What?" David froze at the question. I heard his inner voice say, "Was my kissing that bad?" No way, she clearly said it felt amazing. Huh. Huh? Lovely. My stomach turned as if I'd swallowed a fly. I didn't want to spend another second with him. I threw the door open and shoved David out, right into the delivery guy rushing up the hall. Soup splashed all over David. The courier apologized over and over. It's fine. Our fault. You can go, I said. Sensing the pressure between us, the courier darted into the elevator. Drenched and utterly bedraggled, David hurried to explain, Evelyn, if you're mad because I kissed you just now, I apologize, but No need, I cut him off. I'll chalk it up to getting bitten by a dog. For a beat, a cold smile tugged at David's mouth. Evelyn Perry, you think I'm a dog? I had no desire to debate zoological diversity. Before I shut the door, I tossed back, go F*** whoever you want. David and I went into a full-on Cold War. The kind where we wouldn't even say hello if we passed in the complex. But when we brushed by, I could still hear his inner voice. Day 1, if she talks to me, I'll drop to my knees and apologize on the spot. Day 2, if she crooks a finger, I'll come running. Day 3, I'd settle for a glance. But I didn't speak to him, didn't crook a finger, didn't spare him a glance. On the 4th day, David cracked. He grabbed my arm, head lowered, like an abandoned puppy, and pleaded, Evelyn, don't ignore me. I pulled my arm free and kept walking. David trailed right behind. At least tell me why, okay? If you don't make it clear, how am I supposed to give up? If you don't like me, then pretend that day never happened. We'll be best friends for life. I promise I won't bother you. He stepped in front of me, blocking my way. His voice hitched. Evelyn, say something to me. There were faint shadows under his eyes, his stubble had grown in raggedly. He looked worn out. I turned my gaze aside, afraid I'd cry, and said softly, you've got a girlfriend, be good to her. When you get married, I'll give you a big red envelope. No sooner were the words out than David shot back, loud enough to startle me, since when do I have a girlfriend? I stared. You don't? But last Saturday your mom said you went on a date. I had never seen someone's expression change so fast. David went from shocked, to puzzled, to suddenly understanding, and then, he smiled? He bent down to meet my eyes, unable to hide the happiness shining there. His gaze made my face burn. I shoved him, disgruntled. What on earth are you laughing at? The corner of David's mouth quirked. Evelyn, so you were jealous. Before I could refute it, David grabbed my hand and took off. His legs are long, one stride equals 2 of mine, so I practically had to jog to keep up. Let go. Where are you taking me? To my place? I'm telling my parents I like you. David, you're crazy. Let me go. You. David? Evelyn? His mom came up with a grocery bag. She saw David dragging me while I looked unwilling and her face changed at once. David. Let go of Evelyn. I yanked my arm free and blurted, Auntie, I'm late for work, gotta run. Then I bolted. Behind me, I heard David's mom scolding him, well, you've grown bold, daring to bully Evelyn. No, Mom, I wasn't bullying her, Shut it. Get home. I'm telling your father on you. David watched Evelyn Perry's back vanish, raked a hand through his hair in frustration, and trudged home, sulking. All day I was uneasy and couldn't shake it. David said he liked me, then who was that girl his mom mentioned? Should I ask him straight out? If I ask, does that mean I'm willing to turn from friends to lovers? But do I like him? I don't know. When I was pouring coffee in the break room, my coworker Isabella sidled over. Evelyn, something on your mind? Isabella is my lunch buddy at work, and she's got loads of dating experience. Maybe I could ask her. So, if your childhood best friend suddenly confessed to you, what would you do? To cover my tracks, I added, not me, my friend. Isabella drew out an O, then said, that depends. If this best friend is short, fat, and broke, reject immediately. If he's tall, handsome, and rich, like David, then yes, obviously, take him down. I deflated. How do you even know? She sipped her coffee, smacking her lips. If I couldn't read your heart, how could I have all those lousy men dancing in my palm? Then she hooked my arm and leaned closer. Did David confess to you? I nodded. But I don't know if I like him. That's easy. Do you feel bad when you see him getting close to other women? I didn't before, but ever since I found out he likes me. I thought of the girl David's mom had mentioned, then of his inner voice about someone praising his kissing, and my chest tightened. So, had I already fallen for him? After turning it over and over, I decided I needed to clear up the 2 big questions in my heart. That evening, I asked David to meet me on the rooftop terrace. I set a camp chair on the left for him and a few cans of beer on the right. We used to sit up here and drink and talk all the time. Late May's night breeze was soft, scented with camphor trees. I cracked open a beer. It went down sweet bitter, warming my insides. Couldn't wait for me before you started. David strode over and dropped into the chair, long legs folding as he lounged back lazily. How had I never noticed he looked this devastating? Heat crept up my face. I turned away quickly and handed him a beer. Truth or truth, just for tonight, I said. Sure. Ask away. He hooked his right index finger and popped the can open one-handed. TSK. Why is he flirting with the furniture now? Right on cue, I heard his heart. Evelyn blushed. Guess all that one-handed can opening paid off. Heh. So he's a big dummy after all. First question, when did you start liking me? I figured it wasn't a lethal question, but David promptly sprayed a mouthful of beer. Then I heard his inner voice. Am I supposed to tell her that the night I watched my first adult video, I dreamed about her? David. The truth threw me so hard my mind reeled. As far as I knew, David watched his first video at 14, so he'd liked me since then. My sudden yelp startled him into a meme-worthy face. Guiltily, he stammered I, for ages, then cobbled together an excuse worse than the truth. Because you're very real. Yes. Real. He nodded vigorously to convince himself. Other girls would never fart right in my face, only you would. I thought that was awesome. Where's my knife? Awesome? The only reason I didn't blush around him like other girls was because I never even treated him as a guy. That's why forget it. Next question. I already had my answer anyway. I tipped back the rest of my beer, crushed the can, and mustered my courage. Last Saturday your mom said you went on a date. Who was it? And if your kissing is so good, who'd you practice on? I won't be the other woman by accident. If you have a girlfriend and you're still hitting on me, I'll tell your parents and have them break all 3 of your legs. Maybe it was the alcohol, or maybe I'd said too much in one breath, but my head started to swim. David's voice came to me, near and far. I don't have a girlfriend. Back when I asked you to help me chase girls, it was a cover. I was too scared to admit I liked you, and I never actually dated any of them. On Saturday, I met with a senior from school. She's in foreign trade now, and I had her import something for me. Her warehouse is out by the suburbs, so it took a while. I treated her to dinner afterward, then came home. As for the kissing? Awkward, he took a big swig of beer, pulled out his phone, scrolled for ages, and handed it to me. See for yourself. Puzzled, I took the phone and saw, under an app labeled Kissing Analysis, first time, 6 seconds. Tip, stick your tongue out. Second time, 23 seconds. Tip, practice writing the number 8 with your tongue. Third time, 51 seconds. Tip, lightly nibble your partner's lower lip. The phone suddenly felt scalding in my hands. I thrust it back at David. What is this? He buried his head on his knees and covered it with his hands, too mortified to show his face. I bought a kissing gadget. I practice every day. I had considered it might all be a misunderstanding, but I never imagined the truth would be this absurd. Would any decent person do something like that? David, are you performance arting me? No. He snapped his head up, his face and neck were red to the roots. I was scared you'd laugh at me when I kissed you. But you just said my kissing was good, so it works. Thinking of that domineering, lingering kiss by the entryway, my heart started to pound again. Not that I'd admit it. Did I say that? You misheard. I didn't mishear. David yanked my wrist. I'd been leaning back in the chair. With one pull, I fell straight into his arms. He looked down at me, eyes glossy, lips parting as he leaned in, voice low and coaxing. If you've forgotten, then let's try again. See which is better, last time or this time. A thin wind rose, empty cans skittered to the wall with a tinkling clatter. All I could hear was David's murmur at my ear, Evelyn, tonight, you outshine the moon. I didn't tell my parents about David and me, not yet. We agreed that if we lasted a full year, we'd tell both families. After all, our families had been close for decades. If we split before a year, it wouldn't make things awkward for everyone. But if we hit a year, we could go straight to planning the wedding. David didn't like the plan, but under my iron rule he had to agree. To my surprise, he slowly found the thrill of sneaking around. At family dinners, he'd hold my hand under the table. When he came by to drop things off, he'd slip into my room and kiss me breathless. He often looked at me with such syrupy eyes that even my dad got suspicious. Did you give David some money? Why does he keep grinning at you? I hadn't given David a cent. If anything, he rushed to set up Intimate Pay for me with a $30,000 monthly limit. The first month, I didn't spend a dime, and David made a huge fuss. Is it not enough? Buddy, I only make $8,000 a month. You gave me $30,000, how ungrateful would I have to be to call it not enough? Then why aren't you using it? I just order lunch and milk tea at the office. My salary covers that. Then buy clothes, get your nails done, facials, plenty to spend on. But clothes are cheap in the live streams, and I don't buy every month. My nails are stick-ons, I reuse them. As for facials, I was still considering whether I needed any aesthetic procedures when David, seizing the loophole, lit up and dragged me off to buy a 30,000 beauty card. When you use it up, I'll top it off. The consultant all but drooled at David, so I whisked him away. He seemed to have found my pressure point, tipping up his chin to threaten, "If you dare spend so much as 1 penny of your own salary again, I'll get you more cards, gym membership, shopping cards, an internet cafe pass, whatever there is, I'll get it." Okay, young Master David, I'll spend. I swear. Gradually, I started spending with ease. 1 month I nearly went over. David immediately raised my limit to 40,000 and texted, "As long as my wifey's happy, she can have my life, . Gross. He needs to stop watching short dramas. Soon it was my birthday. My parents decided to invite David's family to celebrate with us. We'd done joint birthdays before, so I didn't think anything of it. Only when I saw 2 men and 2 women walk into the private room did I realize I'd been careless. My dad and David's dad stood up at the same time. Old Park. Old classmate, long time no see. My mom and David's mom went over to greet them as well, and introduced us, "Evelyn, David, this is Uncle Park and Aunt Park. Uncle Park is your dad's old classmate. He's been working in Guanghai these past years and just came back this year." Behind Uncle Park stood a young man and woman about the same age as David and me. My mom said they were his twins, a dragon phoenix pair. After 3 rounds of toasts, the elders at the table began reminiscing. A few lines in and their eyes were already red. I handed my dad a towel. He clasped my hand and sighed, "In the blink of an eye our kids are all grown. We're getting old, we won't be able to take care of them much longer." His words made my chest ache. I bowed my head to hold back tears. Then Dad's tone swerved. "It's best to entrust Evelyn to someone we truly know. Evelyn, at Uncle Park's son. You young people should keep in touch." If I still didn't understand that, I'd be brain dead. I shot David a covert look to calm him, just in time to hear his dad say, "David, you at Uncle Park's daughter, too." So this was a perfectly balanced arrangement. Seeing I hadn't moved, my dad pressed me, "Young Park already has his phone out, hurry up." I had no choice but to add him first, I could explain later. But just as I unlocked my phone and leaned in to scan the code, David sprang to his feet. "Uncle Perry, I have something to say. Actually, Evelyn has a boyfriend. It's me." His classmate, I cut in quickly, flashing David a warning look. All of David's displeasure showed on his face. He stared me down and forced the words through his teeth, "Right. My classmate, and the one I introduced." Then David mirrored me, saying his girlfriend was my coworker. The 3 sets of parents stared at one another. At last, Uncle Park broke the awkward silence. "Sounds like we'll be drinking at your 2 families' wedding banquet soon. Congratulations." I raised my glass with the rest, palms already damp with sweat. David, though, looked calm and collected, and genuinely pleased. That night, the moment I got home, my mom pulled me into a little meeting. She and Dad took turns grilling me, from my boyfriend's age to any family genetic diseases. When I reported, "Same age as me, only child," and "Parents healthy, grandparents long-lived," I passed the first checkpoint. You should have told us." Mom grumbled. "You're not in high school anymore. Afraid we'd forbid you to date?" "All right then," Dad said. "Since he's David's classmate, we more or less know him. Evelyn, invite him over this weekend so we can meet him." "Dad, that's too fast, isn't it?" This upended my plan completely. I couldn't actually have David rustle up a classmate to play my boyfriend. Fast, my foot. "Haven't you 2 been dating for 3 months? "Oh. I'll ask him." I fled to my bedroom and texted David to meet on the rooftop. Late summer edging into early fall, the night wind already had a chill. Wearing a thin sleep shirt, I hugged my arms for warmth. A warm embrace suddenly wrapped me from behind, that familiar scent surrounded me. David rested his chin on my shoulder and brushed a kiss on my neck. "Dress this light, hoping your husband will hold you." The dreamy mood cracked at once. I wrinkled my nose. "David, you're getting way too greasy. Careful or I'll dump you." He didn't mind my threat, he only drew me tighter. Such a stubborn little mouth. "In a minute your husband will kiss it soft." I tried to stomp his foot in fury, he hopped away. I started to turn around, but he gripped my shoulders to keep me still. A necklace slipped down to my collarbones, David fastened it carefully, then turned me to face him. Only then did I see he wore a matching one. "Happy birthday, wifey." David bent closer, my gaze followed him in, and my eyes drifted shut. A crescent hung high, its gentle light wrapped the 2 of us. Even after so many moments of intimacy, my heart still gave a tiny tremor when David's kiss landed. His hand slid from my shoulders to my cheeks, the pressure of his lips deepened, not a tasting brush now but a tender draw, each pull slow and lingering. After a long while, David gave a muffled groan, let me breathe, and crushed me into his arms, voice low and hoarse, Evelyn, let's go public. I can't wait anymore. I heard his inner voice, pure censorship beeps, and pinched his waist. Shameless. On the weekend, I brought my parents to the restaurant we'd agreed on. David and his parents were already there. As the server led us toward a private room, my dad scolded me. We told you to bring him home. Why'd you book such an expensive place? Dad, he said meeting you should be formal. He's treating, he should. Dad shot me a glare. You don't know the first thing about managing a household. Mom smiled beside him. The kid put thought into this, old Perry. Don't make it too hard on him later. Dad snorted. We'll see. I ducked my head to hide a grin. Let's see if they can still give him a hard time when they see who it is. The private room door opened. David's family rose, my parents and I stepped in. Old Johnson? Old Perry? In those few seconds, I could even hear the thud-thud of my own heartbeat. David's inner voice was even louder. What do I do? I'm so nervous. What do I say? Help, help, help. In the end, David screwed up his courage, went to my parents, and, under their stunned stares, said solemnly, Uncle Perry, Aunt Perry, I'm Evelyn's boyfriend. My dad stammered, why you, for ages, then, by some mischief of fate, blurted, who chased whom? Dad. I yanked on his sleeve. What kind of question is that? Does it matter? He knocked my hand away. Of course it matters. David answered on the spot. I chased Evelyn. I've loved her since we were little. Silence, an odd, suspended silence. I watched my dad's taut face slowly loosen, and then tip straight into roaring laughter. He sauntered over, plunked himself down, thrust his hand out to David's father, and crook motioned his fingers. A bet's a bet. Pay up, old Johnson. David's dad couldn't help chuckling. He pulled a 100 yuan note from his pocket and slapped it into Dad's palm. 100 yuan for a daughter-in-law? Bargain. Dad gave a cold snort, unfolded the bill, and flicked it like a boast. Dream on. Not a penny off the bride price. Everything David and I had braced for failed to appear. Instead, the scene had both of us dumbfounded. David poured my dad a drink. Dad took it and smacked his lips, satisfied. Ah, a son-in-law is half a son. Wonderful. Dad, what did you and Uncle Johnson bet on exactly? Beaming, David's mom beckoned me over and explained, when you two were little, your mom and I wanted to set a betrothal between you and David. But your dad wouldn't have it, said he looked down on my stinky kid. David's dad took offense and made a bet with him, when you grew up, whoever fell for the other one first would lose. I shot my dad a look of pure disdain. The old man only waggled his head in triumph and arched a brow at David's father. Who was it back then who said our Evelyn was a tomboy and David would never like her, Who? David's dad laughed in exasperation. Take the money and hush. None of us expected it, but just like that, David and I were settled. Half a year later, David and I got married. He'd prepared a long speech, but after 2 lines, he was crying uncontrollably. Finally he gave up, crumpled the speech, and wailed through tears, Wifey, I'll listen to you about everything from now on, just please don't leave me. The hall burst into laughter. I hurried to wipe his tears and whispered in his ear, don't cry. If you don't cry, tonight I'll listen to you. David's sobs stopped on a dime. He wrapped an arm around my waist and nipped my earlobe. Wifey, deal. David is a man of his word. That night, he declined the friend's after-party. The moment we got home, he kissed me, urgent and breathless. Wait, shower first. I pushed him off with difficulty and dashed to the master bath. From the doorway he said, Wifey, I'll use the guest bath. I'll wait for you. I dawdled through a half-hour shower. When I came out, David was in pajamas, stretched out on the bed. Our eyes met, my pulse raced. I ducked my head as he came over. He scooped me up and laid me gently on the mattress, his whole body closing over mine. Wifey, you're beautiful tonight. His fingertips burned, setting little fires wherever they traveled. Even his soft, ragged sighs sounded dangerously sweet. Sweat and tears blurred together. David seemed tireless. Barely minutes after the first round ended, he kissed along my collarbone, panting. Wifey, it's back up again. Before I could react, he caught my waist and flipped me neatly onto my stomach. Warm kisses fell along my back, his voice came rough and low, there are so many positions. We'll try them one by one. Whichever you like, that's the one we'll keep. In a daze, I thought of that car crash, of the very first time I heard David's inner voice. In the living room, in the kitchen, on the balcony, in the car. Back then, I never dreamed that in less than a year, those words would come true. From here on out, we'll have years and years to try, to squander, to savor all the beauty life has to offer.